Hello everybody, it's Whiskey11, and we're going to kick off our DCS World videos with a FA-18 Scramble Start guide. This is going to be a guide for kind of scramble starting the F-18. This is used in those instances in which you really need to get it started up in a hurry. That means with that, we're going to be skipping a lot of the checklist items that you would normally be checking for when you're starting up your FA-18 Hornet in DCS World. I use this a lot in multiplayer when I'm really bent on getting up in the air because I really don't feel like sitting here and running through 8 million bit tests. It's kind of lazy on my part, but by the same token, I'm also about having fun playing this game. So with that, let's go ahead and we're going to reset our view here, but we are going to do our first starting up here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to turn your battery on, which is this switch right here. While I'm here, I like to go ahead and arm the ejection seat, which is right there. And from here, we need to come over to our left panel and start our APU, this switch here. Now you will hear the APU start. There it goes off in the background. And from there, we will have a green light come on that tells us that we can start our engine crank. And we gotta wait for it to come on. There's the green light. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to crank our right engine. To do that, you just right-click on the engine crank item. We'll come over here, and when this number reaches 18, we can hit Shift and Home to start the right engine. You can see the numbers are coming up. While that is going on, I like to come up here and turn on my DDIs. They will turn on as soon as the generator comes on. So my right two DDIs, and then I also turn on, this is the HUD. And this is the center DDI that we are turning on. I also like to come down here to the radar and turn it to operate, the INS system to CV so it can start aligning as soon as it gets the ability to do so. And as you can hear, our aircraft is yelling at us. Things are still starting up. There it goes. Alright, so I like to convert this guy over to black and green, so I double click on that button there, and you can see we actually now have a qual time here. Let me get a little bit closer. You can see we have a qual time here of 87 seconds. That is the limiting factor on starting this aircraft in a scramble start if your plan is to have INS navigation stuff. It's kind of annoying. So I'm going to come up here and hit stop. It's going to stop this thing from yelling at me or flashing at me. We're going to come back over here and we're going to crank our left engine. So we left click on this. And once again, we are waiting until we get to 18 on the gauge, and then we will hit right Alt and Home to start it. So it's now coming up. We're going to go ahead and we're going to close our canopy by hitting Control C. Man, I love that sound. It's such a cool sound. Alright, while all of this is still starting up, I like to come over here and I turn on all my console panel brightnesses, the backlighting. So we grab that by left-clicking and just moving the mouse up, as well as the instrument panel that gives us the green backlighting. Come up here to the IR cool switch and hit it to Norm, which gets the AIM-9 Sidewinder seeker heads cool down, or at least starts them to. We need to come over here to our oxygen, our onboard oxygen generating system, or OBOGs. Turn it on. Tighten our seatbelt. And by now, really all we have to do is do a quick one bit test that I always do is the flight control systems. It's the FCS page. I had to bind a key, which is this button here. I bound it to Y, and then you hit this button here, and it will move all the flight control surfaces through their range of motion. You can see here it's moving the front extensions, wing extensions. And then it will give us an audible note when it's done. And that beeping tells us that that's done. So the next thing that we have to do afterwards is now we are going to hit the FCS reset switch. We hit it a couple times. And that goes ahead and clears out most of the FCS page errors that were here that are remnants of the startup procedure. You can also hit the master arm a couple times to move the wing unlock if you want. From here we need to turn on our radar warning system. There. Our ECM, I always set it to XMIT. Although at the time of the making of this video it doesn't do anything. I also turn my dispensers, which is chaff and flare, to bypass, which allows me to manually set off the chaff and flare. So with the RWR booting up, we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on the EW page and hit HUD. This is going to bring up our RWR to our HUD so that we don't have to look down here at the RWR. And we are almost done with our qualling on our INS. There it is now done. So we'll come back over to our INS switch and switch it to nav. That gives us our inertial navigation. And with that, the aircraft is basically started up. There's nothing else really for us to go ahead and do aside from putting in our takeoff trim and getting our weapon load out, if you haven't already done that, and then taking off from the carrier. Anyway, I hope this video has helped you guys out. The A-18 Hornet's actually really quick and easy to get started up. As you can see, there's not a whole lot to it for the Scramble Start anyway. If you want to sit here and do 8 million bit tests, you're certainly welcome to do so, but I get real lazy and start it up this way. I know it's not proper, and maybe someday I will do a video on the proper startup configuration for the Hornet, but for now this will work for me. Anyway, I'm Whiskey11. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching.